Okay, so if you have the book, you know that we have talked about the three sides or the three planes in any 3D dimension, and we talked about how to draw. These we call, by the way, the ones we will learn now, primitive shapes. Primitive in Arabic it means بدائي. الأشكال البدائية يعني اللي نقدر نسويها بسهولة. Okay, طيب. Every time, guys, for example, if you want to do activity, for example, let's say you want to do activity, let's say 2.1.1, right? The first activity we said we have is 2.1.1. So I advise you, if you want to do it and you open your Fusion account, again, if you have created, I have seen that, I think yesterday Safe has invited me to his project, so I would remind you again to invite me to your project that you created for this semester on my email. This is it, my email again, this one. And again, how to do so is by, as I told you, if you are here on this page and you open all the projects that you have, for example, maybe when you open the data panel, this one over here, and you find maybe your project empty, or you see here the name of the project. If you want to create any project, just return to the project list over here by pressing on this home, okay, and just create a new project and name it whatever you want. I advised you earlier to create a project, name it like your name and the grade and the term that we are in. Okay, so when you are there, you can create, this is already created, untitled. So if we want, let's say that we are doing here activity 2.1.5, okay, so, or we are just explaining, okay, we can name whatever we want the file. So let's say that we are saving it at first in this location, and the file we are doing the project in, and we name it, for example, name it by your name, maybe I'm naming it Walid, and 2.1.5, for example, and I'm saving it and it will appear here. Okay, and you want to create another file, you can just go up here and just press this one. It will create for you a new design which also you can work on. Let's work maybe, for example, on this one that I saved already. I named it, for example, 2.1.5, but you can name it whatever you want. Okay, I'm just advising you, okay, to create files for different activities, okay, but for the sake of explanation I will just create a new design, maybe name it, I will name it primitive, because we are creating primitive shapes, أشكال بدائية يعني. Okay, so how to create, we are working now in this one, primitive shapes. I will close this one, the old one, primitive shapes. If you open your book, you will check that you can create a box directly. You can create, you will see now how to create a box. We can create a cylinder directly. We can create, we can use this cylinder to create a hole in the box we created earlier. We can also create a sphere, كرة. We can create a torus. You will see what a torus is. And we can create a coil like this. So let's start by the box. We can close this one. Let's start by the box. You can directly go to create without sketching. Just go to create a box. These are the primitive shapes that we can create the box. So the first thing it will ask you where you want the first side of the box to be يعني قاعدة البوكس where you want it to be. Let's say that we want it to be on this one, on this plane. And you can specify, first of all, if you click at the origin and drag, see, you can control the dimensions of the base. يعني dimensions أبعاد القاعدة. If you wanted to make it a normal box, it will be, of course it should be with similar sides. Okay, and you can control the dimensions using the tab. If you want to change this dimension over here, maybe it is now 85 millimeter, you want to make it maybe 70, and the other one again you want to make it 70. You press tab and 70. If you are changing with it, as I told you, you press tab on your keyboard and click enter. Okay, now it will give you the option to extrude it, to give it an attitude. Maybe you want to make the attitude at maybe, let's say, 60. Okay, again you can control everything, all of the dimensions from here, the length, the width and the height. You can control it from over here and just click OK. See, it's easy. Okay, if we, I will for now just or let's keep this one, this shape. If we want to create a cylinder, just go over here, create a cylinder. Let's say that we want to create a cylinder on this surface, maybe. Although if we delete this one, we can just choose the original surface, but let's draw it over here. It will ask you to choose the center of the circle of the cylinder. Maybe this is my center, and I want the radius or the diameter, sorry, maybe I will make it 35 and click enter, and then it will ask you to specify the attitude. See, this is just, and you can, since we are, I want you to note this one, this feature over here, the operation. Since I started drawing or creating this shape, above this shape here, it will assume that I want to join this body to this body to make them all one body. Okay, not separate ones. This will help me if I want to print later on, to print these as one body on the 3D printer. But for now, let's say I want to make it a new body, so they will be separate. Okay, there is also another operation, it's called cut. This is, by the way, I want you to check this one if you want to create a hole in the shape. So I can do like this, go maybe to 25 and make the operation as cut. See, if I'm changing the view, I can see that I created like a hole inside. If I drag it more, I will create a hole that goes to the last. If I press OK, see, I created a hole in the shape. This is explained here, over here in the book, how to use this cylinder to create a hole in the box. See, using the operation that is cut. Of course, if you want, if we go back, maybe Ctrl Z, you can do this hole either by, as I told you, by maybe creating a cylinder, or simply just drawing a circle over here. It's all similar, see, a circle over here, and if I finish my sketch, I can just get this shape and extrude it. If I extrude it up, it will be like this, or down, and make it cut. Again, it will create a hole. If I don't drag the hole or the attitude to the last, it will create a hole until this attitude here. See, it is not until the last or the base of the shape. Okay, let me delete this shape. I can delete the body over here. This is my body, by the way. I told you about the browser earlier where I can show my body and my sketches. I did draw a sketch of a circle over here. I can view it and uh, hide it also. This can be useful if I want, for example, to use this center another time to draw something else around this center. But now I cannot use this center because I cannot see it. Okay, let me delete this one. I also can delete the sketch that I did because I didn't delete it. I can do it from here also, by the way. Delete anything, any step you want from the timeline. Now we are back to 0. If I want to create a sphere, it's also simple. I can specify the plane that it will be tangent on. I can specify the diameter of it. It's also simple. Okay, I will ignore it for now. And then how to create a torus. It's look like this, a torus like مثل حلقة. Again, you can create the plane on which you want to start drawing. Let's specify my radius of the torus. I want the radius to be 80 maybe. Okay, and then you can control the diameter inside the, see, I have two diameters. I have this diameter over here, the distance from this side to this side. See, from the center line over here to the center line over here, we said that it is 80. I can change it over here. And the radius of the torus itself, this circle. Of course, if you make it bigger, 40 for example, over here, see, it will look like a donut. If you make it less, maybe 5, it will look very thin. The diameter of this circle inside. Okay, you can play with these, by the way, or with the dimensions here, either by writing them or maybe dragging only over here, as you can see from these arrows. You can play with the position. Actually, we made it on center. Maybe if you make it inside, it will, what exactly it will do, we are controlling in this case the position of the torus according to the line that we drew already. You remember this line, this blue line over here? Now we want to make the torus be drawn inside this line. But usually it will make sense to draw it on the, see, as the center of the torus. We can also make it outside. So our line over here, this blue line that we already drew, the circle in the beginning, if we make it this one outside, the torus will be outside this line. And of course we can make it a new body or whatever. Okay, this is for the torus shape. The last shape that we want to discuss is the coil. Coil, from its name, it's also simple. You can choose the plane, choose the, again let's make it maybe 100, choose the diameter of the coil, and now we know that the diameter of the coil, at least you know from this circle that is blue, its diameter is what? Is 100. Okay, now we can control so many things. Can control the height. If we increase the height, we can see that we have 3 revolutions. By the way, we have revolutions يعني مثل دوائر دورات. We have 1 2 3. If you increase the height, okay, you can increase the number of also the revolutions very easily. I think you can maybe make it 4. See, it will fit. Of course, if you make it 100, it will not fit. You cannot see it. 1, this is already 1. Maybe make it 7. See, we have 7 revolutions. To see them clearly, you can change the section size. Now it is 25. This is the section size. If we make it maybe 10, see, it will be thinner, the section size, or the diameter يعني of the size. We can also control, of course, the height. I told you can drag it like this. We can control if we want these sections to be circular over here, or maybe I want to make it square, the section. Now my section is square, as you can see. I can make it triangular. I can check now, this triangle is external going to the outside. I can make it like this. I can reverse the direction. Okay, let's say I want to make it circular. Again, if you remember this blue line that I drew, I made it on center. As with the torus, I can make it outside or inside the line. If I make it inside, my coil will be inside the line that I drew. If I make it outside, it will be outside the line. Okay, what else? Yeah, we can change the degree, by the way. What is this 0 degree? If we change it, let's say for example 45. See, we are making an angle in the elevation and in the height. If we make it, can we make it 90? Yeah, 90 will not show up. We can just maybe, if you make it 10, you will have a small angle. So if you make it 0, you will have no angle when you go up. Over here you can check the type. If you want to change, for example, let's say you want to make it spiral. Spiral يعني it will be like this with no elevation. It will be just, going around. The revolutions in this case is also 7. We can make it maybe 1. If we make it 1, it will be only 1. That's it. This is 2, of course, so it makes sense. Okay, so that's it for this section now, which we should, I think, according to our plan, we should have finished it by last week, but it's fine. So all of this now that we have learned, remember when you see, I think there is activity 2.1.4, it will tell you to draw or to create a primitive shape. So you can create one of these shapes. These are the primitive shapes, الأشكال البدائية. Okay, so let's continue. If you open the book in page 74, either you have it, by the way, either you have your book with your hands, or if you want to go to the plan الخطة and get the book from this section over here. This is week 2 plan. Okay, you will see the book. Tell me if you cannot see it. If you can check it, student book 2 and workbook 2 to check the activities. And over here you can check that there are activities 2.1.5 until 2.1.16 to the end of this section. Okay, so this also, never mind, this section is not difficult. If you check the book, it will open for you like this. Okay, so I will just explain to you how to do this part. This will help you also in doing activity 2.1.5. So
Mr. will find this activity on LMS?
Exactly, yeah. You will find all the activities on LMS, by the way. For example, over here, if you open the plan, and you go to the first lesson over here, which is a lesson plan for week number 1, section 1, graphics for design, our first section, you can find, of course, the book of the first session. This is the book, you see over here. This is the first one I was explaining from at the beginning. Okay, so this is the first one you can find, and you can find the workbook of it. The workbook, by the way, it will include these activities but as a book view. For example, I have downloaded them, by the way. You can do so. You can download the books. Check over here. This is the workbook for the first session. You can solve this activities, but you can over here you can just check the book. But if you want to solve these activities, just go over the LMS and download these Word files. So let's say I will just tell you, for example, how to submit and solve. I'm not sure if anyone solved yet, not yet, but how to submit, maybe for example, this activity. If you open it and you download this Word file, okay, so let's say I have downloaded this file, activity 2.1.1. I will just show you very fast. If you have something, don't forget here to enable editing if it asks you, because if you do not enable editing, it will not allow you to add anything to the file. So for example, in the two examples below, the radius CP is given with C being the center. Draw the line and full circle on CAD. CAD means computer aided design, which is our program. So what I will do exactly, I will open my Fusion 360 account. I will go to data panel and check my project. I will create a new file, okay, and save it as my name and activity 2.1.1 and save. I can close this one, I will not save it. So I am working now on activity on this file, which is activity 2.1.1. okay, so again it asked me to draw these two lines with the corresponding radius, 35mm and 40mm. So simply I will just sketch over here and I will create a line at the beginning. I will choose any location that I want. Maybe I want to draw a line over here with 35mm long and another line with 40, it was 40, right? 40mm. So I have this line and this line. So now I want to create a circle. I can see now it will be I think, yeah, over here I can use this one so to draw a circle from this point to this point. So now I know that I have a circle with a radius of 35, and the same applies here, but make sure that you are drawing from C. I assume this is C and I assume this is C, the center, and another circle over here, and I can just press ESC, escape, and that's it. These are the first two circles. What it asks me again, draw 3 more circles. It asks me to draw 3 more circles. Radius of 35, diameter of 80, diameter of 76. So again, I can create from maybe some circles over here. So create a center circle. So it told me that it wants the first one with the radius of 35, but I'm now drawing with the diameter. So for this circle with radius of 35, I can just tell it that my diameter in this case, how much it will be? It will be times 2, right?
diameter
The diameter.
70.
أيوة ممتاز. So the diameter in this case will be 70. So simply I can draw a circle with a diameter of 70, which will create for me a circle with a radius of 35. So the other two cases, it told me that it wants 80. Simply I can type 80. and I can just draw another circle with 76 because it asked me to do so, and then at the end I can just finish the sketch. Okay, make sure that all my sketches are showing over here and just open now. Of course, don't forget every time you work to save your file. Save, it is user saved, click OK, and you can check now that your work is being saved over here. As you can see, you cannot close it until it finishes saving. Okay, now I can take a screenshot, for example from the snipping tool in my laptop. Also, I think you have it on your laptop, or you can just print or type on your keyboard. You can find a button named PRT-SCR. I don't know if you can see it. It's on your keyboard on your laptop. If you press PRT-SCR, it will take a screenshot of the whole screen, and then you can open the paint tool. Maybe you can open the paint tool and copy it over there and then cut it maybe. So let's say that I'm using the snipping tool. I will take maybe a copy of this like this. Okay, where is my image? This one. I can either save it, or maybe that I want directly to copy it, and because they told me to submit an electronic screenshot, I will paste it like this. It asked me also to share a link. Yesterday I showed you how to share the link, but it wasn't working. I should wait for it to finish saving. So sometimes maybe if you press share public link, maybe it will not work. It will show for you like this and it will not create a link. What you can do, there is another way. It's also easy. Check this one over here. It's called open on the web. I hope you can see it. You can open this circle over here with the eye. You can check all these files on the web. So now you can click on it. It will guide you to the web. If it asks you to sign in, sometimes you can just sign in using your email and password for the Fusion 360 account. So I will check where did I save my file. It will show me over here the projects that I have. I'm working on this project, and I can see this is what I'm using now, Walid 2.1.1. So if you right click on it, you can click share. It will give you this link. Copy. You can copy it and maybe paste it over here. Wherever you can maybe make this smaller. I don't know if it will fit actually if you make this smaller again. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So now anyone, if I want to check your work, either I can see this one or I can take this link, copy it. If I open it over the web and paste it over here, it will show me your work as a web view. Okay. Model is empty. It will be empty sometimes maybe if I don't have 3D shapes, but never mind. I'm just showing you this also if you want to, because in the next lessons we will be creating 3D shapes. Okay, now for the other yeah, so these are the activities. Of course you should save it. At last you should save it, and the same file that you have done, just go back here and submit it. لابد من إرسال ملف بهذا الواجب. Now this is until activity 2.1.4. Now for the next lesson, it should be for this week. You can also find the book, a soft copy of this section. It will open for you this file. I already showed you this, by the way. In activity 2.1.5, let's close this one, I already saved. I will open the file I made earlier, which is activity 2.1.5. You can just double click on it. It will wait and it will open it over here. So activity 2.1.5, it will ask you to create a hexagon. So you can just, as I told you before, create a sketch and create a polygon. Let's make it maybe circumscribed. If you make it like this, it will create a circle inside. Just for your help, it will create a circle inside the sorry, the shape. But if you choose the other option, which is polygon inscribed, the circle will be outside. See? Let's choose maybe the first option. We are creating a polygon. We want it to be a hexagon with this distance 65, and we make it this sides to be 6. So I click enter. Type. If I press over here, it will show me that this length of this side it's equal to around 75. What if I want to make it 60? I want to make all the sides to be equal to 60. I care about the sides. I don't care about the distance from here to here. I want this side to be 60. I can just go to sketch dimension when I'm sketching. 1 second. Yeah. Sketch dimension. Whatever, choose any of the sides. Click on it. Drag maybe up. Click again and type 60. Now all my sides, if I press escape, all my sides are equal to 60. Okay, I can just then finish my sketch and extrude it. Let's make the extrude maybe 65. Okay, I want just to show you what options you can do with the extrude in this case. You can select over here the start of the extrude. Maybe you want your extrude in this case started directly from the 2D shape, from the profile. Okay, you can make it offset plane. What this means that I can change now the offset. I can maybe make it 10 millimeter. This will mean that I will start my extrude after 10 millimeters away from the shape. See, I can start my extrude to be 10 millimeter away from shape, from my shape. From object also, if I have another object, I can make the extrude maybe 10 millimeter away from the object. Okay, I can also control the direction. The direction now of my extrude, I am making it on one side only. I'm just maybe going like this or going like this, choosing one side. Another option that you can do is two sides. Now you will have another arrow. You can control the extrude of two sides. Maybe this one you want it to go down for a distance of 25 and you want it to go up with a distance of 60. Or see, you can control two sides. Or you can make it symmetric. Symmetric, if you control one side, it will go up and down on the same time with the same distance. If we go back to one side, you can also control the angle. We are going with 0 angle, but you can control the angle. It will be going outside. If you make it maybe 20, see, it will go the angle between this direction that we are going up and this direction, it will be 20. If we make it see 70, it will have more angle. So for now we will make it 0. We want it to be normal and click OK. Now some of the students earlier asked me about one of the tools, that is how to make the edges smoother. Before we do so, let's make this shape empty from the inside. We can go to modify, press on shell, choose my surface, and I want the thickness maybe to be, let's say, I want to make it 5. What is this thickness? The thickness is the distance from from here to here. My thickness now will be 5, and it is empty sheet. See, I am creating a shell. This is what's called a shell. So I can use, by the way, this one maybe to create a pen holder, right? You can create a pen holder. You can put pens now very easily. And just click OK. Now, how to make the edges, these ones, smooth? I can go to modify. My tool will be fillet. So let me just write this one to you on here. Let me again, there is any new joiners, so let me take the attendance again. So we used now the shell plus the fillet tools. Okay, now with the fillet tool I can choose the edges 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I have chosen the 6 edges that I have, and I can change now the radius. Okay, what I'm doing with the fillet, it's like creating an arc or half circle with maybe a radius. If you make it 5, see, it will look like this. Of course, if you increase it, it will be more smooth, we can say. So I think 10 is good maybe in this case, or maybe we can make it 7. No, 10 looks nice. 10. Right. We can see that we have smoothed the outer edges. There is a simple way and nice way to make also the inside edges also smooth. See this trick? We can go to the timeline, move this fillet to be before the shell. See? I'm playing with the timeline. It's like I have made the edges. If I go over here, I did create the extrude file, then I made the edges smooth, and then I did shell the body. In this case I can make the edges smooth. See this trick? This is one of the capabilities of the timeline. Okay, the last step, just yeah, I think it's time's up. The last step of creating holes, you can check it, guys, from the second video that I have posted here, how to create use shell and how to create holes. Okay, this will help you on completing activity 2.1.5. So I hope you have a good day. Let me stop the recording.